For improved system performance, long-term financial returns, and less risk on your PV projects, look to the proven performance of DuPont Materials and Solutions.
Hello and welcome to PV Newscast. Coming up in this week's programme: First Solar to axe 2,000 jobs and close plant in Germany, SunPower to stop using Fab 1 facility, and Ethiopia is to get its first PV module assembly plant. A severe cost-cutting exercise and manufacturing realignment is underway at First Solar, as it plans to axe around 30% of its workforce on the back of permanently closing its German manufacturing operations and idle 4 lines at its facilities in Malaysia. Management blamed the move on the market conditions in Europe and the rapidly changing market demand dynamics within the industry for the restructuring. First Solar said that its cadmium telluride thin film production lines in Frankfurt Oder would be permanently closed in the fourth quarter of 2012, while 4 out of 24 lines in Malaysia would be indefinitely idled beginning on May the 1st. Around 150 jobs will be lost in First Solar's European sales and administration functions, as well as 1,200 manufacturing jobs. Around 550 jobs will be lost at its Malaysian plants, and some support staff functions in the US will also be lost. As a result of the plant closures and idled lines, the company claimed production capacity would be close to 1.7 gigawatt in 2012 and was therefore right-sized to expected demand this year. Management said that its PV project pipeline, primarily in the US at the moment, would support 1.2 gigawatt of module production. Another major PV manufacturer is making a second round of capacity adjustments, this time SunPower, in a bid to lower manufacturing costs. The company said it would stop using its Fab 1 facility in the Philippines and consolidate production at Fab 2 and its newer facility, Fab 3, in Malaysia. Bosses hope that the restructuring will reduce nameplate capacity by 125 megawatts, partially offset by yield and productivity improvements planned at its other plants. The company reiterated that its manufacturing cost reduction initiatives remained on track, including a manufacturing process cost reduction target of 15% by the end of 2012. They refused to disclose the number of job losses. Not surprisingly, lean pickings in the PV equipment sector in 2012 could lead to a shake-up in the equipment supplier pecking order. That's according to the latest report from NPD Solarbuzz. Having relinquished its number 1 spot in the semiconductor industry last year, the first time in several decades, Applied Materials could also lose its leadership position in the PV industry that has been a 14-quarter reign that began in 2008. The market research firm believes Applied Materials is expected to be overtaken in the revenue stakes in the first half of this year by Meyer due to Meyer consolidating a significant part of Roth & Rau's 2011 PV revenues during the second half of last year and a strong deferred backlog accumulated by the end of 2011. However, it is GT Advanced Technologies, according to NPD Solarbuzz, which also has the largest order backlog within the sector and could become the number 1 supplier in 2012. The first time this would have happened. GT said in February this year that recent new orders had pushed its order backlog to $2.2 billion. The good news, however, is that a recovery in equipment spending is forecast for 2013. The rebound in spending is expected to be led by a select group of Tier 1 manufacturers, placing equipment orders that are expected to start in the second half of this year. We'll be keeping an eye out and a look at that at EU PVSec later in the year. The contents of Italy's next Conto Energia 5 have been set up to drastically cut the budget for solar incentives and have caused great concern both within and outside the country on the potentially serious impact on the PV industry. Yet financial analysts at Jeffries Bank believe the revised legislation will not have as much of a detrimental effect on the industry as first thought. They claim that incremental revisions of the draft may be a possibility, but this would not have any effect on the previous estimate of installations reaching 2 gigawatt. As the Italian market shifts towards residential installations, the market could remain at a stable 2 gigawatt level over the next few years. On another positive note, Jeffries maintained that Italy could grow once a more definite infrastructure for smaller systems is in place. And finally, Ethiopia is to get its first PV module assembly plant courtesy of SpireCorporation, which has been selected to provide a 20-megawatt turnkey module assembly line to a partnership between renewable energy project developer Sky Energy International and Metals and Engineering Corporation and an Ethiopian state enterprise, METEC. Spire said that the Ethiopian government had a stated goal of having 20% of its power capacity coming from solar energy within the next 5 years. The module assembly line will be established in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. That's it for this week. As usual, you can keep up to date via Twitter and online at pvtech.org. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.